what's crazy is when I sit with clients, the majority of the thing I hear is they say, I don't even look at it. Or my financial advisor tells me not to look at it. Right. Or, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to be okay. And what's funny about the market and the economy and everything in general is we're not fortune tellers, Ron. Like we can't tell the future. So how do you tell someone when everything looks and points in the direction of recession, higher interest rates with the Fed hiking interest rates? Like, how do you look at someone in the eye and tell them it's going to be okay, just ride it out? And I mean, it mainly comes down to the money and the way, kind of like we talked in the past, that financial advisors make their money. Like if they don't manage your money, if you're in a safe vehicle and they're not managing your money, then you're in a position where they're in control. So how can they ever dictate or tell you what to do, what not to do, when you know what's coming? I mean, everybody sees it. Everybody sees the writing on the wall. We've talked about how inflation's up. We talked about how interest rates are going up. Home inventories are low. And a little bit of everything points in the direction, hey, if you're in the market still, you're going to lose a good portion of your money. And we've talked about in the past, if you've got time, 12 years to recover or 20 years to recover, it could be a great time to be in the market. You may take a loss, right? But then you got time to recoup. What do you think? Like, why do you think someone would tell a client, hey, don't worry about it, it's going to be okay, when they're scared to death themselves?
Well, I think really it's just someone not wanting to lose the ability to have that interaction with that individual any further. I think one of the things you really hit on was the Feds. We're not done. I mean, the Feds have already come out and said there's at least one more increase before this year's over. We're closing in the tail end of August, and it's going to happen again. In the late third quarter of the year, they're talking about another increase. Well, to be able to sit there and say everything's going to be okay, to your point, we don't have crystal balls. There's no way we can foresee the future, but there is some writing on the wall that kind of gives us indications that says, hey, this is leading this way. No one wants to talk about recession, but it's real. We're right on the cusp of whether we're going to hit that recession period or not. This inflation that we're dealing with at an all-time 40-year high, we haven't experienced this inflation rates in over 40 years. That's a telling sign, and that's not a positive sign. So does that mean that we're going to hold steady and the markets are going to ring true going forward? Again, no crystal ball, but man, to be able to sit in front of someone, this is what I think you and I have had some conversations about over time here, is I don't want to have those conversations with individuals that says, man, we just lost 15% of your money. Don't worry. You're okay. You're in it for the long haul. You'll recover. That could be true. It may not be true. But I don't like having those conversations with individuals that says, man, you just took a bath, basically. I don't like those conversations, and I don't have those conversations with people, because I believe, and I'm personally, my own personal views is that I don't like my money, a vast majority of my money being at risk. I want most of my money being protected and preserved and knowing that I'm going to have certain outcomes year to year to year versus the instability. I still get involved in some of the instability, but I don't have the majority of my asset pools in those vehicles. So to sit there and tell people everything's going to be okay, it potentially could, but like you were saying, someone that's younger, you do have some time. Maybe this is the market you get involved in where you buy low and sell high. That's kind of the mantra that you hear. So if the markets tend to go down and you can buy lower and you are younger, it might make sense. And if you're older, it might make sense as well, but you don't put as much into that environment because of the concern you may have of, hey, I'm 5 years away from getting out of the game. So maybe you don't want to put all those eggs in those type of baskets and take that kind of chance. So I just don't think you should be having those types of conversations when the markets are going south and you're just trying to preserve business. And I'm hoping that's not what a lot of brokers and individuals do, but I just don't like having those conversations with people. And to be quite blunt, I don't typically, because I just don't I don't get involved in a lot of that myself. So it's just something that I obviously monitor and have conversations with people on, but I just like having the ability to talk to people and being able to put people on a path that's more positive, maybe not getting drastic returns from one year to the next, but I'll take like the slow and steady wins the race concept. That's the tortoise and the hare philosophy. I'd rather have that mindset, knowing that, hey, I'm slowly getting ahead, not quickly getting ahead and then having tech 2 steps backwards. So I just think that's the way I try to treat individuals and find out from them what are their tolerances for, whether it's risk or things like that. So it's something that, I think it's just a matter of open dialogue and making sure you're always talking to people.
Yeah, I agree.